Hey, everybody. This is the real, actual infinite regression on the real, actual recording that I'm going to upload to the YouTube. Haha. I made a fake one tonight. We'll see if I can fake anyone out with it. I have my reasons. Don't question my fake making policies. Anyway, this is the real, actual, true weekend type fun, volume 14. Will you ever get to see the fake one? No. Is it pretty hilarious? Yes, it is. It might be the best thing I have ever made. Anyway, but we're going to show you this one and you're just going to suffer through it because it's appropriate for YouTube and the other one is not. So don't ask. Anyway, yeah. Let's do the voice. A weekend type fan, volume 14. No, that's not the voice. Dingus. Come on, do it. You know the one. No, I'm afraid I don't. I'm afraid that I've become too big-headed of an actor due to some acting I was doing in last week's episode. You mean the one that we posted like just a few days ago? Because apparently we're doing this like slightly more frequently. I mean, we're doing it now. We're enjoying the weekend now because we're going to be traveling and unable to enjoy in our standard midweek broadcast spot, which was supposed to be for Minecraft, by the way. But somehow we just always are like, hey, let's just do some slideshows. Anyway, this has been hilarious. I'm truly happy that we've wasted our time on this. Anyway, let's get it going. Do the freaking voice. No, I'm afraid I can't. That was not even a good of whatever you thought that was. Well, actually, yes, it is. Because I'm a dead actor, clearly. You are you're portraying a man who is now dead. And it's sad that he's dead. And it's sad that before he died, he was in a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But we all know who that was. So you're saying my craft is good because I'm able to do a voice that you recognize, Q. My name is not Q, first of all. Second of all, what the frick? Like, this is hardly topical or reasonable. Wait just a gol darn minute. Well, I came down here, an old-time impression that everybody seems to be able to do, and I just came down here. I thought I was going to be a part of the big show. You know, my brother told me it was a saloon. Anyway, from my whorehouse movie. Come on, we're losing structural integrity on the accent. I noticed the accent was falling apart. This is like the third worst Jimmy Swaggerty impression I have ever heard. It's right up there. Anyway, you need to cut that out. You need to cut it out. Fergen, Mergen, Hergen. Are you Swedish chefing on me? Are you seriously? Look, we went on Fiverr. We got the cheapest voiceover guy that we could get. We got a guy who would do it for an actual Fiverr. And we are holding this Fiverr over your head. And we're going to let you have it if you just say it like we asked you to, you big old dingus. But I was, how you say, being an artist, showing you the strengths that I have, which I picked up at the community college. You picked up accent doing and community college. No wonder you're so freaking bad at it. Like, what is your deal? Just, I will give you $10. And I swear to God, do not get used to this. I will take $5 out of my own wallet to add it to the company's $5, which we are already willing to give you, if you would just say the freaking line the way that we ask you to every week. This is week 14. You've been doing it. You've done it 13 other times. You know what? You've done it 14 times. If we count the time that you did it for that alternate version of this week's episode that we recorded to freak someone out and make them think that we had uploaded a very lewd episode, which we in fact did not. Probably. We'll see how it goes. We haven't recorded it yet because you won't say the part about how much weekend type fun we're having. What number of weekend type fun is it? Come on, Ronnie. Ronald. You get Ron baby. Hey, eyes on me. Hey. If we wanted to hire a quitter, we'd have looked for someone who would do it even less than the name of the website on which they are hiring out their skills. We would have done that. We would have found a $4 or a $3 kind of guy. We know you can do this. Weekend Type Fun, Volume 14. Chaz, are we going to be able to... Could we cut that? Like, cut out all the studio chatter and just have that be the opening of the show? Like, not have any of the other crap that we said because it was stupid and ridiculous and I hated it. And so help me God, if this finds its way onto YouTube, the words that I'm saying right now, if we don't cut around these words and all the other words that were not this Fiverr voiceover guy who learned his craft in community college, if we are not just cutting out his $5 worth of bit and leaving these words and others like them out, I swear to God I will walk. Okay? Like, I don't want to be diva talent, but like, come on. You know what type of show we're trying to have here. Anyway, with your host, Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. Hey, Rem, let's all stare at your face and think about what a goof you are for forgetting the theme song. Son of the gun. Theme song. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Go.
This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme.
Hey, I moved my microphone closer to the speaker in hopes of sweetening it. Did it sweeten it? This is an audio note for me to check on later. We're going to cut this part, right? Chaz, we're going to cut this part where we're talking shop. Sweetening. Audiences don't need to know that we, like, don't do it with levels live or levels in post because there is no post. We need them to not see how the sausage is made, so to speak. Oh, you've never seen sausage made? Oh, it's disgusting. That's why that's a saying. Oh my God, if you knew what went into sausage, oh man, your breakfast plate would look a lot different, I assure you. My God, what goes into sausage? You don't use it as a pizza topping, do you? Oh, man. Fennel. The answer is fennel. They put fennel in your sausage. What is fennel? I don't know. Does it get used for anything other than sausage? I have never heard of it. Anyway, regardless. Oh, yeah. Rem, you played that theme song like you knew what you were doing. Hey, I'm Rem. Wait. I did it. I'm the doer of it. It got done by me. I know which character I am right now. Hey, I'm in a room full of white people. You know, we'll probably reference some of them along the way. You know how we be with white people, giving them all the opportunities. You know what I'm saying? This is a freaking broken system, man. This is how the system is systemic. I'm white and I'm the entire show. So like I can't really harp on myself too much. And back to saying I'm in a room full of white people. So many white people in here. Oh my God. Clarissa, look at you with your white wine. Oh my God. What is that? A Pinot Grigio? Oh, no, it's a Cabernet. No, it can't be a Cabernet. It's a Chardonnay. A Cabernet is a red wine and therefore delicious because white wine, I'm going to tell you this, Clarissa, white wine is trash drink. And I know that you drink it so that you can show up at your daughter's soccer game just friggin', 3 sheets to the wind, just, an old nautical friggin' reference worth of drunk because you know how sailors drink. I mean, they're legendary in terms of drunk. And that's how drunk you are when you drive from this studio to your daughter's soccer game. Swear to God. Anyway, we're back at white people. We're back at white people. We're done recognizing the fact that we should have more diversity. We would if we could, but this is a one-person operation. We can't. All right. Anyway, white people. There's a lot of white people around. Hey, it's capitalism time. This week's episode, which is what we call episodes in the Bweez, which is what we call business. We call it Bweez because that's how it's spelled, not how it's, pronounced. The Bweez. Anyway, which is what we call business in show business, which is what we secretly call a way to shovel more advertising down your greedy little capitalist American gullets between songs by your great American band Sun, parenthesis, which is actually the band's name. That is, I am so proud as an English dork that I have created a sentence which includes parentheticals stacked in such a way that they include the name of the band Sun, who spells their name that way because Sun was a manufacturer of amplifiers, specifically bass amplifiers that are highly sought after in the 1970s. And those amplifiers, as it turned out, are the absolute choice of many a super fuzzed out sort of doomy type of band. So yeah, Sun totally worked it into a sentence. Boom, firing on all cylinders. Braxton, that's a you. I'm pointing at you. I'm saying thank you, man. Sun reference. Oh my God. Didn't they do a split album with Boris? Or am I thinking of someone else? Anyway, regardless, Boris, man. What the crap, Japan? Anyway, hey, let's sell some things under the guise of entertainment. How I just sold copies of Sun albums just now. All of you are rushing out. You're like, oh, it's all heavy and fuzzed out, man. That sounds awesome. Yeah, it does. You're right. And it is, because I'm not lying. This is 100% the name of a band Their music's pretty awesome if you like sludgy sludge and doomy doom doom. Anyway, hey, transition slide. Hey, host, you're so smart. You make up something. Sludge I put sludge on whatever this next thing is. I don't remember what is next on the slides. I may have created more slides for this freaking show than I have for any other show, and it's taken me too long to get through not that many slides. Here we go. Commercial number 1. Gil's House of Discount Celebrities and Celebrity Impersonators. Hey, come on down. We've got them all. Billy Glass. He's like Billy Crystal, but much cheaper. Anne Hathaway. She's a double amputee for half price. This week only. Neil Cubic Zirconia. He can sing all your favorite Neil Diamond songs so well, you would swear you were listening to the Jewish Elvis himself. And it's okay. Friend of mine who is Jewish told me that this is true and that it's not bad for me to say that. And because of the I have a black friend rule, I'm not racist, apparently. Probably. You let me know. I'll fix it. I love Neil Diamond, by the way. He's one of my favorites. I was literally raised listening to the Jazz Singer soundtrack, the Jonathan Livingston Seagull soundtrack. Oh man, I got down with some Neil Diamond. To this day, America is my go-to 100% go-to karaoke track. I wasn't going to pause on any of these, but then I was worried that people would be like, he's being anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. I love Neil Diamond. Anyway, I feel like this is as much of a tribute to Neil Diamond as Saving Silverman, and Neil Diamond was in that movie. What he wasn't in that movie was a picture of Tom Jones. What? Oh God. I apologize, Neil Diamond. You are my hero. You're America's greatest songwriter. You're our hero. Anyway, we got them all. Jack Nixon. He's basically a young Jack Nicholson, and he absolutely will say, here's Johnny, but will say nothing else. Contractually, will say nothing else. He won't. Poke. He'll sing passable versions of all your favorite Police songs, and also that one Sting song you don't mind so much. Man, I hope the Russians love their children. Or no, maybe it's the one from the that one soundtrack of it be about wherever you go, whatever you do. Just kidding. There's a million ballads that came out around that time that were made by gravelly voiced singers, and then they all came together to sing for the Three Musketeers soundtrack. Oh my God, remember that? And then they played that song as a slow song at dances. Holy Moses, what were we thinking? But this is also the decade that had us slow dancing to the long version, the 9.5 minute version of Meatloaf's From Bat Out of Hell 2. I would do anything for love, but I wouldn't do that. For real, but I won't do that. Which, by the way, people all the time be like, I don't know what he won't do. I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that. Well, listen to the verse as sung by, is it Bonnie Tyler? Is it Total Eclipse of the Heart Woman? I'm pretty sure it is, because she worked Like, Total Eclipse of the Heart was written by Jim Steinman. Like, everybody knows that. Like, obviously, it has the operatic style of Jim Steinman. When was he not swinging for the rock operatic fences? Never. Never. And like, so anyway, in the woman's verse, hold up. I'm going to pull it up. Anything for Love lyrics. Okay. More. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. Here we go. All right. So we get into the part that is sung by Bonnie Tyler. This part right here. Will you raise me up? Will you help me down? Will you get me right out of this godforsaken town? Will you make it a little less cold? I can do that. Will you hold me sacred? Will you hold me tight? Can you colorize my life? I'm so sick of black and white. Can you make it all a little less old? I can do that. Okay? This is late in the song. You have to listen to all 9.5 minutes to get this, but it's in there. Okay? I'm telling you. Will you make me some magic with your own two hands? Can you build an emerald city with these grains of sand? Can you give me something I can take home? Now I can do that. Will you cater to every fantasy I've got? Will you hose me down with holy water when I get too hot? Hot. Will you take me places I've never known? Obviously enjoying, this is the part of the Jim Steinman song that is clearly coital in nature. There's some copulation happening here. All right? Now this is the turn. In poetry, we call this a turn, where like we are making a turn toward the point of the poem, the lesson, the moral. Toward the end of a poem, sometimes there would be a turn where it's like, oh, we've been talking about this, but surprise, it's been a metaphor for this all along. That kind of a thing is known as a turn. Now, this is not going to be a metaphor, but this is going to be the final revelation, because everything that she's given him thus far is like, I can do that, right? Okay. And after a while, to forget everything, it was a brief interlude and a midsummer night's fling. And you'll see that it's time to move on. I won't do that. I know the territory. I've been around. It'll all turn to dust and we'll all fall down. And sooner or later, you'll be screwing around. I won't do that. No, I won't do that. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I won't leave you. It's basically the very 9-minute Jim Steinman version of never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and hurt you. Yeah, it's freaking, you just got rickrolled. You just got rickrolled by Meatloaf and Jim Steinman, always connecting for those smash hits. Always. Have you listened to Welcome to the Neighborhood, that Meatloaf album? Oh my God. Like, okay, people be all about Bat Out of Hell, which rightfully so, because it was a Bat Out of Hell of an album. Nobody saw it coming, you know? Bat Out of Hell 2, 90s. It's been 20 freaking years. Like, where is this coming from? After that, Welcome to the Neighborhood, so operatic, so many great songs, and like quality Meatloaf Jim Steinman collaboration, possibly their best work, arguably their best work. Anyway, also, this guy will attempt to have tantric sex with you, but cannot promise a full 8 hours. So, this guy is named Poke. You'll see he looks a lot like Sting from The Police. Famous Raga band. This is how you say that type of music. Raga. They believe in Jah and marijuana, as far as I know. Anyway, we got them all. We got Glenn Farr. She looks exactly like, look at how much she looks like Glenn Close. But if you see her up close, you'd be like, okay, this is clearly someone's grandmother. But far away, you're like, is that Glenn Close? The greatest Cruella de Vil that we have ever seen? Oh, I said it. I know she's not the first Cruella de Vil that we ever saw, but the greatest. For real. Unless she was the first. Let's look it up. Where? Don't worry about Richard Kind. It's very important that I looked him up earlier. Okay. Glenn. No, we're going to look up 101 Dalmatians. 96 film. No, 61 film. Why do I have to do any amount of scrolling for that? Like, it should just be one right after the other. Or the other right after one. Casting. Okay. Betty Lou Gerson. Okay, Gerson. So obviously it's Betty Lou Gerson. Why does that name sound familiar? This is very important that we do this right now. Oh. I copied it. Betty Lou Gerson. American actress. I just wanted to see what she looked like. Betty Lou Gerson. Okay. Obviously, she was a Disney legend, clearly. Radio and film. Okay. Mary Poppins. Oh, small cameo as the old crone. Twilight Zone, Dick Van Dyke Show, Hazel wanted it alive, The Rifleman. Okay. All right. I am so glad. Oh, she was in Cats Don't Dance. Like, obviously, that is the thing that happened because that is definitely a movie that I've heard of. Why the hell? Oh, because we were trying to find out if Glenn Close was the original Cruella de Vil. No, she wasn't. And that's Disney's loss to have the talent of Glenn Close. Anyway, we've got Glenn Farr. You know what? I need to... I'm going to have to rewind and do a clean take of me just saying these. Justin Woodpond. He can pretend to have been in any of your... you know what? Clean take. All the way through, no comments. Okay, here we go. Transition slide. Come on down to Gil's House of Discount Celebrities and Celebrity Impersonators. We've got 'em all. Billy Glass. He looks a lot like Billy Crystal, but he'll work much cheaper. Anne Hathaway. She's a double amputee for half price this week only. Neil Cubic Zirconia. He can sing all your favorite Neil Diamond songs so well, you'd swear you were listening to the Jewish Elvis himself. Jack Nixon. He's basically a young Jack Nicholson, and he absolutely will say, "Here's Johnny," but nothing else. Contractually, he will say nothing else. Not upon entering your home or premises, nor upon exiting. Poke. He'll sing passable versions of all your favorite Police songs and also that Sting song you don't mind so much. Also, he will attempt tantric sex with you but can't promise a full 8 hours. Glenn Farr. She looks exactly like Glenn Close, just not up close, though. Justin Woodpond. He can pretend to have been in any of your favorite boy bands. Wrong Side of the Tracks Boys, Concurrence, 36.66667 degrees Celsius, One Way, and New Children in the Neighborhood, the original boy band. Donnie and Marie Osmond. One's a little bit country and the other's a little bit rock and roll, and these two are married just like the real-life Donnie and Marie. They are willing to pretend to be Mormon if you really want them to. Stank Frallone. The one man in the world who would rather impersonate Frank Stallone than his more famous older brother. Do you want to hear songs from the less popular sequel to Saturday Night Fever, Stayin' Alive? Please hire this man to sing them for you so we don't have to field his sad phone call again this week. Going. Sorry, Stank. Stevie Wonder. We just kidnapped the real performer and tell him that your living room is another sold-out show at Madison Square Garden. Sure, it's unscrupulous, but how else can you get the genuine article at rock-bottom prices? I said clean take, God damn it. Jim Belushi. He looks just like the famous 1970s dead man, John Belushi. You can have him half price because even though our top-notch talent coaches have worked with him, we just haven't been able to find any talent in him aside from his resemblance to a dead man, of course. Okay. Ed Bagel Jr. He looks so much like the real thing you could just eat him up. So if you're looking for celebrity lookalikes at rock bottom prices, come to us. We also have this guy named Dwayne Johnson we're working on. Also, I'm not sure that Ed Bagel joke was worth going back and writing at the end while we're messing up. Jeez, Malise, God. Anyway, you won't believe how much this guy looks like that WWE wrestler, The Rock. You can tip that in, right, Chaz? You can, make it sound like I didn't mess up. Okay, I'll just keep it rolling. Here we go. Gil's House of Discount Celebrities and Celebrity Impersonators. Come on down to Gil's new location at the corner of Sketchy and Window Bars and hire a famous today. Come down to Gil's and get a famous. We've got the famous ones. Yeah! Transition slide. Put something clever in this space so the host doesn't look like a dipshit this time. What is with the swearing? I swear to God, we used to run a clean show for families. And then all of a sudden I come in here and it's like, oh, we're just going to casually drop the word dipshit. Like, what? I swear to God, if anybody watches this who is other than me, I will give you a Steam code. A code for Steam, the video gaming service. Put in there, you know what? Make the word dipshit, right? Dipshit. And I will give you a Steam game for free. You can have it. But, going fast, nobody's ever commented. And now we want to recognize the greatness of the lowest common denominator of comedy, Larry the Cable Guy. But we fear that his comedy has gone underappreciated by highfalutin types who use correct grammar and spelling. So we're going to test a theory we have. I am terrified. I remember writing these. I am terrified of how this is going to go. I thought it was a good idea at the time, and then I remember writing slides. I think the slides immediately after this are about we don't know how this is going to go. Because I didn't. And then I wrote them and I was like, yeah, it came out. And now that I'm here looking at it, actually performing these slides, I don't think it's going to work out. Hey, come on now. Put your best brain forward. The only one you got. Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, we have not tested these jokes out. I do say it immediately after. So we're going to test the theory we have. Please note that we have not tested these jokes at all. So if this entire bit doesn't work, our theory didn't work out, and we're going to have to come back to the drawing board. Go back, not come back. We're not here at the drawing board and then leaving and going away. We're here announcing our theory being put to the test, and then we'll go back to a drawing board at an alternate location where we're not in front of an audience, internet or otherwise. You white people, talking about you. Yeah. Aiden, talk about you. And Kaysen, two different people. Ian. Like, Ian, how are the promotions? Like, your promotional materials? Did you scribble with a marker on poster board this week? Like, what, or whatever the crap it is you do? Like, Braxton is over here writing more slides. Quite frankly, we don't have the time to waste that we are currently wasting on this slide that has nothing to do with how many white people are in the room, by the way. And there are a lot of them. A lot. I don't even want to count how many white people are in this room with me right now. But, you know, I've named a few of them. I mean, we got Derek over here. Yeah. Chaz acting like he's, you know, associate producing or executive producing anything. Sorry, I almost gave you an associate executive over here. Me. Yeah, you get paid an extra several percentage points on the back end. Like, you're the only one in the room making any money. Like, you're driving fancy cars and we are taking the subway here. Yeah, that's right. I took a subway to my own computer room where I'm recording this, and there's a room full of white people because white people are plentiful in the area in which I find myself. So many truths I'm telling. Anyway, okay. But yeah, we'll have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe we'll come up with a Gallagher who smashes smaller fruits so the audience doesn't get splattered, or we'll come up with a straight Todd Glass. Now, I'm going to be honest. I wanted to snipe on another comedian. Oh, Andrew Dice Clay was out there. He's sitting right there, and I didn't even use it. It'd be like an Andrew Dice Clay who uses well-known Anglican hymns instead of nursery rhymes. Like, oh God, from whom all blessings flow, that chick was on her flow. So out the door I did go and went to go visit another hoe. Hey! Like, what? That, oh my God. What? It wasn't even a good Andrew Dice Clay. Anyway, I was gonna make fun of another comedian because everybody can make fun of Gallagher because it's like everybody is allowed. Have you ever performed stand-up comedy? No. Have you ever thought that you might be good at it ever? No. Not even while drunk? No. Well, then you are still allowed to make fun of Gallagher because that is the law of the land. Todd Glass, though, I've seen him perform in the Carlin Room, which is, he gave it that name, the Tempe Improv. And he's very funny, and I used to listen to his podcast all the time, and it was very funny, especially that episode with Paul F. Tompkins, because Paul F. Tompkins is a delight and a national treasure, and I was so happy to hear him. as Mr. Peanut Butter in BoJack Horseman. Anyway, but like for reals, Todd Glass is like a comedian's comedian, and people love him, and he's great. And like he took a long time to come out. As a matter of fact, I think when we saw him, he was still being like, my wife doesn't like it, and then actually it, came out that, yeah, that he's gay. Anyway, can I take more funny out of this? Could I do that? Yeah, anyway, yeah, Todd Glass is a real delight, and we like him. He's a good person, so I just dumped all over him. Anyway, yeah, put him up there with Gallagher. Take that, Todd Glass. You're getting uppity. Anyway, regardless, who am I? Who am I? I'm not even in the thing. Like I'm not even like a guy who has done the thing. I can't be. This is the second week in a row that I'm like, oh, sniping people. Like what? I can't snipe people. I'm going to snipe people. Okay, so bear with us because we're not deleting these slides even if they're unbearable. They already have been, thank you, sir. And what's with the bears? What is with the bear crap? But first, speaking of bear crap, we're going to make the host talk about how weird it is that Charmin has had an ad campaign going for over 20 years that is a not at all subtle reference to the saying, does a bear shit in the woods? How is this at all acceptable? Now, as a guy who barely swears at all on his YouTube channel that nobody watches, like, I am 100% opposed to censorship. I think it's silly and ridiculous. I think you should say what you mean and mean what you say, and there should be freedom of expression. I mean, like, come on, it's 2021. Like, there's nothing that people haven't heard. Like, my son has seen, heard, and encountered things that are like, it's so much filthier than anything that I would have known when I was his age. And he's fine. Like, he's a good kid. If you met him, you'd be like, he's a good kid. And he is. He is. I mean, it's, he's in there dealing with the world at a much earlier age than I did, but like I wanted to when I was his age. I just didn't know any swear words, nobody would teach him to me. And I wouldn't say him because I was afraid of what Jesus would do, because he is very spiteful. He's either like, hey, I'm your best friend, or he's like, you will spend eternity in hell for something you said in the 5th grade. Like, oh my God. But for real, like, what offends me about this is like, okay, it offends me a little bit that they're like, oh, we can make a campaign that's like a not very subtle reference to does bear shit in the woods. Like, they think they're getting away with something. Like, they're not. We get it. It's not subtle. That part is like, this is like 2% of my frustration with this commercial. The other 98% is reserved for the fact that, like, you are selling toilet paper. Like, we all agree that we know what toilet paper is and what it is for. It's for shit. And if you are a woman, it is for piss as well. But, like, it is mostly for shit. And, that's like 90 some odd % of what it handles. And so, like, that's what it's designed to handle. This is literally what it is for. And so if you are a businessman and somebody's like, what do you make in your business? And the answer is something to wipe your butt with after you take a dump. Like, then you should be allowed It's like, what are you going to be like? Oh, well, you know, when excrement falls out of your posterior into the sanitary station in the bathroom, uh, you know how you then use some sanitary paper to sanitize your posterior. It's like, no, it's shit. You shat, the shit is hit the whatever water. If you're in a bathroom, hopefully it hit water. The leafy ground if you're a bear. But like, if you are the purveyors of paper that is designed to clean up that mess, then you should be allowed to say, like, that you should be allowed to be like, hey, little one, like, have this commercial be like, hey, little one, it's time to go shit. Papa, I've never shat before. Where shall we shit? Oh my God, this is turning into the worst version. None of this stuff was on the slide. And I 100% recorded a false flag version of this show. It was like, this will be funny. And I'll play it. I'll be like, hey, wife, did you think that I posted this version? Nope, I posted this version instead, where I talk about bears shitting and having shat. Anyway, this gets an E rating. E for explicit and E for everybody can handle it. Anyway, because everybody shits. They do. It's a thing that happens. It's a bodily function. We all do it. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to voice over this commercial how it could have been if not for censorship. Hey, son, are you ready to go learn how to shit? Wow, Dad, learn how to go shit? That's one of the things we bears are most known for. That's right, son. You're several years old, and so I think it's time that you learn how to do it, because I'm tired of finding little bear cub ploppings all over the house. Let's go do what bears are born to do. And what's that, Dad? Bears shit in the woods, son. It's such an obvious thing that we do that it's a saying. When someone is like, hey, is obvious happening right now? And then the other person, being sarcastic and hilarious, says, does a bear shit in the woods? That's what we do. We reinforce that stereotype because it's not a harmful stereotype. It's true. We do shit in the woods, and seeing how you've done it all over our little Berenstain Bears house this whole freaking time since you were born until you're like clearly, I don't know, 5, 6 years old in this picture. Anyway, yeah, up until now, you just shat in the house wherever you happen to be at the time the mood to shit hit you. Now it's time to teach you the truth that a bear shits in the woods. Indeed we do, son. But Dad, if I shit in the woods, then how am I going to clean my derriere region? Your ass, son? It's called an ass. You can say it. If you were British, you would call it an arse. So, yes, you get to clean that part, son, with this special paper that I purchased from a shop in our little bear village. Oh, Papa, this paper, I'm rubbing it on my face. It's for your ass, stupid. It's ass paper for the shit. Anyway, hey, Levy, my dear lovely wife, no one will ever see this. This will never be an embarrassment to our family, inasmuch as I am the only person who has seen this. Anyway, regardless. But Papa, I rubbed it on my cheek, preparing myself to know how soft it would be. I was worried, Papa, due to the thickness of the paper, that it would be rough on my little bear Tuchus. Tuchus, I will allow, is a hilarious Yiddish word, as are all Yiddish words. I wish I was Jewish and could say Yiddish words at will and not feel bad about it, but I do. But Tuchus, man, that's a good word. It's very expressive. Anyway, rub it on your face. That'll tell you how it's gonna be on your little butt there, you little arse. Anyway, and then you rub it. You rub the paper and then leave it in the woods. It's biodegradable. It is by law it has to be. Anyway, so there you go. That's what I'm upset about. Is the commercial is not that it's not an honest talk about what bears do in the woods. We all know what bears do in the woods. Anyway, that is the most of the swearing that I think you'll have in this episode. Anyway, probably. I don't know. We'll find out. And with that out of the way, we present... Yeah, that's right. I was building up to a different thing entirely. That's this show. That should be the name of this show. And now for something entirely different than what it was before. With Tony, the freaking boa constrictor. Why Tony the boa constrictor? I don't know. There's no reason. Anyway, we present our uppity Larry the Cable Guy, who will bring all of the lowest common denominator comedy to the upper crust. Could you please gently pat your opera gloves together for Lawrence, Cable Repairman? I once shared a modest estate with a woman who, due to the size of the estate and my often aloof nature, had no idea I was inhabiting the estate at all. I command you to do her. That's get her done. I am not commanding you to do anything to the woman on the modest estate. I am just engaging in folksy banter, just like one Larry the Cable Guy who says, "Get her done, I tell you about that, I'ma go over and did she got her a dango and that she did the thing and then she be like, oh dango man." Anyway, regardless, I had to, because he'd be like, "Get her done," and it's a prerogative, it's a command, so I have to command you to do her. I can't just say, have done her by this time when I am making reference to that fact. Like, that doesn't work. That doesn't slide off the tongue at all. I command you to do her. Slides off the tongue. You have to know, it's when it comes to comedy, this is not a lot of people will tell you this. The words that you use are important in comedy. That is the key. You take words. Okay, I'm gonna break it down. This is, you know what? Normally, you have to pay $199.95 per hour to hear my 2-hour seminar, The Secrets of Comedy with Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. But I will tell you the secrets of comedy right now. Here are the secrets. Step 1, take words. Step 2, intentionally place those words in sentences containing ideas that are funny. And if you do that and do it consistently, then You're a comedy writer, just like Braxton over here. Just like Braxton. Anyway, I command you to do her. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have a bit of a... Oh, goodness me. Okay, this one involves a rather unpleasant reference to my brief and alone, I should remind you, visit to a gentleman's club, a type of establishment I'm not wont to visit, but it was the night before the nuptials of a friend of mine, and that is the reason for which I found myself in such a predicament. His drunken, soon-to-be brother-in-law insisted that we attend such an establishment, and so attended we did. Anyway, I once found myself in a gentleman's club and was perplexed to find myself being forced to pay for the company of a courtesan with whom I had shared a gentlemanly... Wait, wasn't I doing... Hold up, wasn't I doing... Oh, yes, I believe I was, yes. I once found myself in a gentleman's club and was perplexed to find myself being forced to pay for the company of a courtesan with whom I had shared a gentlemanly waltz. When she complained of my paying her sum in children's play money, stating, "Surely this is counterfeit," I retorted, "So are your bosoms, my dear madam. I command you to do her." And once again, when I'm commanding you to do her, I am commanding, I get her done. It's a translation. It's the catchphrase of Larry the Cable Guy. So our theory was that Lawrence, the cable repairman, should have a similar catchphrase. Anyway, you'll let us know on your comment cards whether or not it's working for you. I suspect it's not. There is apparently a television program about obese persons who wish to decrease their surplus body mass. I'm not a viewer of this program. If it were my wish to observe various persons, all of whom are contending with their rotund figures, I would attend a family gathering. I command you to do her. See, this one, it's about obese persons, about a television program. Therefore, that I command you to do her is a little bit less aimed at a specific woman. During the Yuletide, I have a tendency to overindulge in confections. As a gift, I was once given a computerized fitness tracker which, once fixed to my wrist, took the liberty of confessing my sugary sins directly to the family doctor. I command you to do her. I was once betrothed to an uppity Presbyterian who, when pressed, refused to take my family name, perhaps due to the influence of the presbytery. You know how the presbytery is. These Presbyterians, what do they get up to? She utterly refused to be called Lawrence the Fourth. This is hilarious, because you no doubt assumed she would not take my surname, not my forename. I command you to do her. No, once again, it's get her done. It's not, don't do anything to my former betrothed. We're still friends. I'm rather fond of a group of sisters who perform together this went off the rails. Go that way with it. I'm rather fond of a group of sisters who perform together in a minstrel group whose provincial dialects indicate their sub-Mason-Dixon provenance. Even so, the tawny-headed abbreviate should learn to keep a lady's silence. One would assume that she has the intelligence of a St. Martin's boy to speak ill of her betters. I command you to do her. This time, if you were to actually do anything to the tawny-headed abbreviate, you know of whom I speak. The Dixie Girls. Yes. I am just realizing, this is me saying this as I was writing this, but I'm narrating it anyway. Regardless, I'm just realizing how many of Larry the Cable Guy's jokes are about women. There's something telling in that. It's true. He tells a lot of jokes about women. I tell you what, there's a woman, she got a thing and like a BB and a taffy puller, and then I had a one girl, she had a beauty mark, and then I kissed her, it was a tick, and then there's another in my sister, and she was in labor, and I give up on a poop after a while, and then there's there's a lot of jokes about women. I'm not not necessarily the expensive women, but a lot of they're just about women. What does that say? Anyway. Transition slide. I'm too lazy. I'll come back to this later. Braxton. Did you, Braxton? Oh, is one of the other writers being a goof, being a goober? Being a gubernatorial candidate. Anyway, regardless, this show is going to run way over. Just be ready for that to be true. And now, something nobody asked for, but we're doing it anyway. This would have been better on episode 13. Thank God we're getting through some slides finally. I mean, honestly, I was very concerned that we would not make it through enough slides. But whatever. It's sexy costumes. So, I was Googling costumes tonight. Never you mind why. Weekend times is my times. They're not your times, Jerry. Jerry. Oh, my God. I'm not talking about Jerry. Jerry is a problem child. Anyway. Jerry. Oh, this guy. He's always encroaching on my weekend type times. You know the guy from The Office who's like, oh, let's all go out for drinks afterwards. It's like, I just spent an entire work week with you people. This is my time. Jerry. Anyway, I was Googling costumes tonight. Don't worry about how I spend my weekend time, Jerry. And I realized how many ridiculous female sexy versions there are of things. Like, there's way too many things that are like, I'm a Halloween costume and I'm a sexy version of like, I'm a sexy Spiro Agnew. Like, oh, wow, look at me. I'm a sexy baklava. Like, what? What even are you? Oh, check me out. I'm a sexy copy of Spinoza's philosophy. Like, what is happening? Anyway, it's officially out of hand. I'm a sexy Easter bunny celebrating the holiday early. What? Yeah, I'm a sexy Christmas elf who's wearing an Easter bunny costume underneath because she's going to an Easter themed party after work because they celebrate Easter just like we do. Only she has to work because it's the North Pole and she's got to help Santa because he's like basically a slave driver. Anyway, we don't have time to get into the freaking like labor relations at the North Pole. We are wasting time. This episode is going to be entirely too long. Anyway, uh, but there were so many things I thought I'd show you, not because I purchased several of these things and won't admit it, but because they are genuinely interesting in and of themselves. Let's see if I can do these without commenting forever. Sexy serial killer knife hand man. You know what? Like, given the fact that most serial killers are male, it's an interesting choice. Like, in both movies and in real life, most serial killers are male. So you make the choices you want to make. A sexy serial killer doll, because why not? Sexy different serial killer doll from the actual serial killer doll film, the one where the doll is named Charles, but everyone calls him by his nickname. Anyway, is as opposed to the generic killer doll in the previous costume. See, this could be any killer doll. This one is specifically... Wait, this one looks more like the one from the... This one is... I don't know what to believe anymore. This one has red hair. Doesn't he have red hair? But he does not have sexy thigh-high stockings or high-heeled shoes. But, once again, similar problem. But I think the striped shirt is similar, and also the overalls. So maybe Braxton got it wrong, is what I'm saying. Sexy military aviator, indicating progressive policies in our nation's armed forces. Woohoo! I mean, don't they have to have like pressurized in your pantalones too, so that you can like maintain blood flow to your extremities? Like, isn't that why flight suits are the way they are? Yeah, indicating progressive policies from the mid thighs upward. Sexy magical boarding school student. How should she balance the time between her studies and sexiness? The ungodly powers of magic wielded over the mysteries of time itself, no doubt. No doubt. Hey, I just took a break real quick and got some water. Is it time for me to recite Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner yet? The lengthy poem written by one of the great poets, Bruce Dickinson. Just kidding. I know it's Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I just wanted to see if we had any fellow metalheads. And I bet she's like, I'm a metalhead. And then you're like, cool. We listen to some Maiden and some Priest. And then you put some Maiden on. And she's like, no, I meant like Pierce the Veil and Bring Me the Horizon. And then you're like, that's not metal. That's like screamo. It's like post-hardcore at best. Anyway, these are very important things to settle. And Samuel Taylor Coleridge would demand no less. Anyway, regardless. Wait. Oh, I didn't even change the freaking sexy religion lady. We don't have these in my church when I was growing up. My brothers, yeah, well, not like this they didn't have, but I mean they had like the ones, frumpy is the word. The old frump. Like, I mean, who wears a Whipple in, friggin' 2021? You could tell me that that's not a little frumpy. Come on. Anyways, sexy religion lady. Did I forget that I wasn't doing the Lawrence Cable repairman skit anymore when I wrote that last caption? Wait, what was that last caption? How shall she balance her time between studies and sexiness? The ungodly powers of magic wielded over the mysteries of time itself, no doubt. Yeah, it works. That is, I think maybe I had not shifted my authorial voice to the present skit, bit, friggin' whatever it is that I'm doing here. Attempted comedy. Anyway, so yeah. Also, how do we allow the sexualization of the female oblates on the one hand? I had to look up that word and how to pronounce it, and I was like, I will remember it's oblates because you're oblong. No, you're obliged. That's how the Google told me to say it. Oblates. I obviously know what it means is someone who's taken a religious vow. But anyway, regardless, let's take it back. Hey, Chaz, let's do a clean take. Also, how do we allow the sexuation of female oblates on the one hand and the finger wagging at truly vile priestly behavior on the other? It seems oddly sexist and or hypocritical. We got that one, Braxton. Was this... No, Braxton, sorry, Braxton. Chaz, I'm looking at you. Like, produce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get paid for it. You get paid more than anyone in this room, myself included. And, yeah. Make this happen. Make me not sound terrible. That's like your one job week to week. And guess how much of it you do? So very little. And I swear to God, if any of you look at me and think like, oh, you sound terrible, it's your own fault. I have to take the material that I get from Braxton. I have to interject the funny. I have to inject the funny and sometimes interject the funny when there's not funny in there. So you just know that like 90% of the magic is happening on my end, and then over here we got the guy who's getting 90% of the pay, is what I'm saying. I mean, this business sometimes. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, it's weird because like everybody agrees like priest does bad thing sexually, waggy finger, makes overtly sexualized version of the female oblate. I'm definitely saying that word right. Sexy female version of person who has taken religious vows. And yeah, and we're like, yeah, good. We are okay with this. Sexy swashbuckler. A woman breaking into another traditionally male-dominated career. Get it, girl. Like, get it. Girl, look at you getting it all day. Like, seriously, she's getting it. She's making it happen. She's like, sisters are doing it for themselves. She is doing it. Stripy pants. For real. Sexy ringleader, ignoring the various obvious instances of animal abuse. Yeah. Yep. It's true. This model does not care about the health and safety of animals. Sexy indigenous person. I have so many problems with this one. And I honestly did not think, because I remember there was like a campaign of commercials and stuff, and people were like, please don't make our entire existence a freaking joke with a dumb little costume. And the costume people were like, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. We will stop telling China to stamp these out at like 100,000 a minute. You know, I feel like there was actually something that happened there, but lo and behold, when I'm like clicking around the various sexies of the site, I was scrolling through the most popular, and thank God this is not the most popular, but it's anyway. But yeah, it is tragic when a vast number of separate and unique indigenous cultures who've endured centuries of oppression are all just lumped together in one culturally insensitive costume. Like, come on, people. So, yeah. Hey, is this still funny? Hello, hello. Check 1 2 1 2. A guy walks into a bar. A guy walks into a bar. Nope, it's not the microphone. I'm looking at the levels. We're still good. So, lack of funny is on someone else's end. Braxton, I'm looking at you. You got all preachy. And then the people were like, that's not funny. Sexy vegetable. Just like carrot juice, we're squeezing a lot more than we should out of this bit. As compensation, take a moment to appreciate the way in which this model squeezed herself into a dress. Yeah, it's true. It is like painted on. Is like, could she uncross her legs? Like, will this split up to the freaking top? Will this carrot top bow fall out of her hair if she uncrosses her legs? Will this carrot tear asunder? Actually, will it dice itself into neat little segments going upward if she uncrosses her legs? I think America deserves to know. I think this is an instance where it's like we need to find out. I'm going to YouTube. We're gonna be like, sexy vegetable uncross. Let's do it right now. It's time. I think we all need to know what you get when you go to youtube.com and you go sexy vegetable uncross. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no at every. Oh no. Internet. What are you doing? All I was trying to do was watch the carrot applique. Not the whole dress. I don't want to lose her entire dress, just the applique. As she uncrosses her legs. Anyway, of course, the bottom of the hemline of the dress will go up to her armpits should she uncross her legs, but the dress will remain intact. It's just the carrot will get diced. Anyway, moving on. Sexy leftover exotic food. Wear this if you want to be a legit snack. Yes, let's compare women to things that we eat without thinking, digest quickly, and leave behind in a mess. That makes me so sad. Eat without thinking, digest quickly, leave behind in a mess? Like, what? Yeah, why are we calling women snacks now? It feels new that people have been like, you are a legit snack. You know what I'm saying? It, like, means you're tiny and edible, I guess. I don't know how tiny she is. The dress says edible. It says enjoy on the boobages. Like, it's already a sexy Chinese takeout. We get it. You don't have to put enjoy on the boobages. We already do. Like, what do you think you're making this for? A culture that has not learned to buy and sell women's bodies as a commodity? Like, come on. We all know where to look. You've trained us. Anyway, sexy elementary school art supply. If I were trying to hit on this woman, I would ask her if she were literally melting in her costume. Hey, are you like melting in there? When she replies that she's fine, no, I'm fine, I offer the retort, You're so hot, you could melt wax. And she gives a little giggle and she gives a little coy smile, indicating that it is now AWN on. And then I tell her that her hotness has since liquefied my earwax, and she gives me a phone number with a tilde and an ampersand in it, and I never hear from her again. Sexy elementary school art supply. I'm cross-posting this on the Lost Connections on Craigslist. Or Misconnections, whatever. Sexy alternating current direct current band member. That's definitely what this is, because that's what I thought it was when I clicked on it, so it can't possibly be anything else. Do the duck walk. Now do it down a ramp. Why don't you have a guitar? Sexy children's television show character. It feels like his eyes are really coming right out at me. Like, it does. Like, his eyes are like, whoop, whoop. Like, what? It's a bit too much. Sexy Italiano cuisine. On the eastern seaboard, they call it pie. Can you believe that? I'll wager 2 bits this model has danced to the 1990 Warrant hit Cherry Pie at some point in her life. I'm not saying exotic dancer, but I'm not saying that. Sorry. Just apologize for a lot of these jokes. Sexy public television icon. Some of your tax dollars went toward making this costume culturally relevant. Isn't that a fun fact to consider? Like, yeah, you wouldn't be staring at the cleavage of a character who taught you your numbers and your ABCs if, like, you and your parents did not pay taxes. That's just... I'm not saying it's good information. I'm not saying it's bad information. I'm saying that the cleavage that you are now observing on this, like, what? That is a tiny shirt. I'm just realizing that's not like nude fabric on the sides. That's like legit a very tiny costume for a children's television show puppet. Like, wow. Okay. Sexy little person slave. Yes, they were so grateful to have been saved from their natural predators that they offered to work long hours in a factory job for no wages and with no benefits whatsoever. It makes perfect sense. Sing little songs, you short ones. Do it. Like, yeah, let's have this sexy version of little person slavery. Like, come on, man. Wait, now, I went back up. Sorry. Sexy stop motion animation character. How? Okay, so this is still culturally relevant because they are still pumping out new content, and it's like good for them. Way to go. But like this stopped being new when my grandparents were young. You know what I'm saying? And like, how is this still culturally relevant? You watch these animations and they are terrible. They're not funny. They're not interesting. They're not good. How do people under 20, does she know whose face she's wearing, or is she just like, I'll wear whatever you got left? I know I showed up late to the shoot, so just whatever you've got. Oh my God. Sexy wartime female worker propaganda. A sexy version of a piece of true feminist iconography. One of the earliest pieces of feminist iconography. I guess this would work if you're wearing it to reclaim control of your own sexuality and intentionally direct the male gaze toward a powerful what? Feminine. What you read underline so many other things. Why don't you? Okay, let's try it again. Sexy version of a piece of true feminist iconography. I guess it works if you're trying to wear it. If you're wearing it, son of a... Oh, come on, get it together. Hey, look at yourself. No, the mirror, stupid. I'm not... Your eyes don't work that way. Okay, look in the mirror, dummy. Okay, you can do this. You can do this. You can stop looking at the line on here and wondering if it's, stop. You got this. Okay? I believe in you. We have the power. Okay? All right, here we go. Sexy wartime female worker propaganda. A sexy version of a piece of true feminist iconography. I guess it works if you're wearing it to reclaim control of your own sexuality and intentionally direct the male gaze toward a powerful feminine symbol in order to subvert the patriarchy and establish the power of your femininity. If you're not doing it for that, it kind of doesn't work. And I honestly wonder how many women have donned this and have been like, yeah, I get that reference. They're like, that's from World War I, right? And like, nope. Oh, come on. Do better in history class and costume choosing. Sexy crustacean. Yes, because a freshly boiled sea bug whose claw and ass meat is ready to be eaten with drawn butter. How is that sexy? I mean, other than eating ass meat in butter. Like, because then I made you think of things. Let's just move on. Transition to something else. Actor Richard Kind is much more similar to his last name than he is to the characters he plays, who are all such jerks. If you ever have the opportunity to meet Mr. Kind, don't hesitate. He is a delight. Like, he makes time for his fans, and you may have seen him in a million different things. But he will stop and he will talk to you. He is so nice. Now, if you haven't been able to tell, today's show has been based on the idea of celebrities and celebrity, the concept of fame itself. Sure, Larry the Cable Guy isn't a good celebrity, but he's famous and recognizable nonetheless. I really did not enjoy his stand-up comedy. I watched some because there are not enough transcriptions. Like, oh, go figure that. Larry the Cable Guy doesn't have people writing down his words. Like, yeah, they remain part of an oral tradition for illiterate people. Yes. God. Yeah, I won't tear into Todd Glass, but because he is a nice man and is gay and needs, to not have people be taking pot shots at him for no reason on the internet. Anyway, but like Larry the Cable Guy, he's got a pile of money. He can handle the hit. This guy, we're taking you down. Even the models and the costumes want to be celebrities. So, like, everything we've done tonight has been celebrity. Nobody gets into modeling to do photo shoots in a hotel ballroom wearing whichever costume they could squeeze you into so you can be one in a long line of girls with similarly freshly dashed dreams who's been granted the honor of helping move merchandise for a web-based seasonal holiday costume company. And God help you if you get a Christmas costume. You know why? Because they don't sell as many of those. That's the real, like, we are about to pack it up season for the costume store that used to be, I don't know, whatever store went out of business in your town. Hastings? It's probably Hastings. Anyway, regardless. You don't want to be in a Christmas costume. That's like the saddest one. They want to be wearing form-fitted, hand-stitched pieces of one-of-a-kind fashion genius, not mass-produced cultural references in costume form. That's not what they wanted. That's not what they signed up for. Nobody did. But celebrity is a fickle mistress, and she does not give herself easily or often. You can trust me on that. I know from experience. Just kidding. I never went for celebrity. I tell people all the time, if they ever ask, like, because it'll come out that I have a YouTube channel, because they'll be like, what did you do? And I'll be like, I recorded stuff for my YouTube. And they'll be like, hey, can I watch it? And I'll be like, no, please don't. I do the opposite of advertising. Anyway, and if anybody that I know ever watches this, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going for the opposite of celebrity, and so far, so good. I guess what I'm saying is, if there isn't a website called Celebrities in a .com, .net, or God help us, .org domain, everything I thought I knew about the internet has been one long goddamned lie. And 20 minutes later, I'm watching full-length episodes of the 2007 sitcom Cavemen, a show based on the cavemen from the mid-2000s Geico insurance commercials. That is factually accurate. That is true. I was doing that. That's the thing that happened tonight. Man, I spend my time wisely, clearly. Is I gonna watch this later? Like, why would I not watch that? I'll watch any train wreck, apparently. Life is cruel sometimes. Just so you don't leave on a cliffhanger, there is no celebrities.com, .net, or .org. Although it is a Tumblr tag, Celebrities, search it on Tumblr, find weird memes that are neither celebrities nor titties. Anyway, the internet has failed me and is therefore a lie. This program was made possible. That's right, we're going on the home stretch. Buckle up, buckaroos. This isn't the longest one we've ever recorded, but it's the latest I've ever been up for one. It is... the moon has gone down and the sun has come up, and long ago somebody left with the cup. Man, this program was made possible by the Igneous and Gertrudina Buttcomer Foundation and by viewers like you. Promotional considerations provided by Ralph Morgan's Extra Strangly Snakes, the Lonely Ass Librarians Guild, Grandpappy True Reel's Foul Smelling Balms and Gruels, and the one and only True God. This program was directed and performed by Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons, and god damn it, this time I said I was going to write different text. I left it last time because I was being clever. This time I left it on accident. It's not clever. Written by Braxton White Guy, who should have written some words for that last slide, Braxton. Note to self. He's not actually this gray. He uses graying creams, and you shut your mouth. You do so. Theme song by the Out of Tuners. A presentation of Non-Sober Badger Productions, a subsidiary of the large, boring-sounding corporation with a surprisingly questionable business practices. Okay, Chaz, we're going to cut that one. We're going to take this take. Here we go. Take 2. A subsidiary of the large, boring-sounding corporation with surprisingly questionable business practices, Lawful Asset Holdings Incorporated. A branch of the intentionally vague corporation whose purpose may never be known, the Blaine Group. And communism. Not dead yet, suckers. And now we cede a moment of time to Elizabeth II, Queen of England and all the territories. What are we to learn from the fact... Oh, excuse me. Ooh, need a bit of water. Ooh, can't be queenly enough when I haven't had my water. What are we to learn from the fact that Canada Day is July 1st and America's Independence Day is July 4th? The British subjects in their respective colonies always get uppity when the weather gets warm. That is what we learn. Let's remember that next time we build a global empire. Thank you, and remember that we are a tiny island in the Atlantic, and yet somehow very important in global politics. We now return you to your regularly scheduled TV program. No, she would say scheduled, would not she? Yes, I believe she would. I mean, I would, because I am the Queen of all England. We now return you to your regularly scheduled TV program. These community college classes in voicing are paying off. This isn't TV, and we're technically done with our program. Well, then allow me to bid your viewing audience adieu. Bye.